So I think one-on-ones look different depending on who you're supervising. I supervise associate directors, and so in our one-on-ones, and actually when I supervised assistant directors too, I really let them take the lead on what they wanted to talk about in their one-on-one. Of course, I had notes of things that I wanted to make sure we mentioned, projects that I wanted to follow up with, but I really let them take the lead on what they wanted to communicate with me. And as I think about it, as I sit here and think about it, it is really just kind of my role, not only in the meetings that I am the supervisor in, but also in the meetings where I am being supervised. I let my supervisor take the lead in those meetings as well. I feel like I'm really good at asking questions and getting information when I need and want it, outside of meetings. And so when there's a dedicated time, whether it's with my supervisor or supervisee, to sit down and have one-on-one conversations, I really do let them take the lead. Some things that I might cover if I'm bringing things up, projects, like I said, activities that need to be completed, dynamics in the organization, questions that I have that I think only they can answer. I cover those kinds of things. I do start each meeting, whether it's with my supervisor or my supervisees, just kind of checking in to see how their lives are going. I try to ask them about their families and their friends and things that are happening. Of course, that's a very small part of our meeting, but I spend some time doing that. I think when you think about the supervision of RAs, it's really important to zero in on what their responsibilities are and to help them navigate and negotiate those responsibilities. I think it's important in part because many of RAs aren't going to go into student affairs. They're not going to go into residence life, and they may not actually value spending a bunch of time talking with you like you're a guidance counselor or a some sort of other counselor, and they're really looking for direction. So I think it's important to make sure that those one-on-ones are supervision meetings and that you're first and foremost taking care of the business of helping them understand their roles and responsibilities and discuss how those roles and responsibilities are being met. An important thing to think about when you are onboarding new staff is the fact that you want to retain them. So I think when you're looking at your onboarding package, you need to think about, how do I make sure that this person is set up in order to do the very, very best work for the organization. No one wants to come into a new job and not know anything about how to be successful. No one wants to do that. And if people don't feel successful, it's going to impact their efficacy. So their efficacy is the belief in their ability to accomplish things under their control. So I want to accomplish this goal, and my efficacy tells me or helps me feel like I can do it. And we build efficacy. One of the ways we build efficacy is through verbal persuasion, people saying that we can do it. Another way is through experience. And so onboarding really provides an opportunity for people to understand what's happening around them and develop efficacy around how they can be successful in it. And so it's really important to do that. It is very expensive to replace people after you've spent so much time hiring them. It's very expensive to keep people who don't have a sense of efficacy, who don't have a commitment to the organization, who aren't engaged with the student population. And so doing everything that you can to onboard folks so that they can be successful in your unit, in your hall, at your institution is very important. I think the most important thing that a leader can do, an organizational leader can do, is be an effective supervisor. I have a really big department, and how I like to think about it and how I kind of communicate about it is the fact that the Office of Residence Life at Miami University isn't the entirety of the office for the individuals that work in the office. It's certainly a part of their experience, but really the Office of Residence Life is sort of three groups of people or individuals. First, if you consider an RD, a hall director. So first, the person in the combination is the supervisor. Next is the group of RAs that are being supervised by the RD, and then of course the residents that are in the facility that the RD is overseeing. That really is the Office of Residence Life. Of course, certainly at schools like Miami, there's a director, there's associate directors, there's colleagues in other units, but those three groups, those primary groups, so the individual supervisor, the RA team, and then the residents of the facility that the RD is overseeing really are what make up the residence life experience for that particular RD. And so, of course, key to that is having a really quality supervisor. I mean, you're basically, as a supervisor, the entirety of the institution and the entirety of the organization. So, I think it's important to spend time with people, to have regular one on ones, to give feedback, to develop a relationship, to supervise with purpose. I think it's important to, like I said, spend time. I spend time with my newer associate director, more time than I do with my veteran associate directors. Good time with all of them, but certainly new folks need a bit more attention and time at the beginning of their experience. And so it is key to the individual, it is key to the organization, it is key to the institution. Supervision plays a huge factor. As a director of residence life, I can tell you, even beyond the resident director position, the supervisor relationship is very important. I need different things for my supervisor than I did as an RD, but I still need that connection, that contact. She sits as the vice president or the associate vice president and dean of students. She sits at a lot of tables I don't sit at. So she sees parts of the institution that I don't get to see, and I rely on her to be able to communicate to me and to help me and guide me, and that so that I can navigate the unit to success and to make sure that we're aligned with the institutional priorities. Supervision is profoundly important, regardless of what position you're in.